In this video, we will introduce JSF Custom Tags. The user interface of a JSF application called a view consists of a tree of UI component objects of types based on the Java UI component class. Some components are simple, such as a button or a text field. Others are complex, such as a table or a tree control element. We create views by manipulating the components by means of custom tags, which give you access to their methods. To associate objects of your data model to the corresponding components, you assign to specific attributes of component tags value expressions that refer to the objects. The tags associated with rendering HTML components are called in a custom library HTML. Let's look at a basic example. To be able to use the library, we add the following namespace attributes to the root element of our XHTML document. Here we can see facelets, which we give a namespace of UI. The JSF Facelets namespace provides special tags to create common layout for a web application called Facelets Tags. These tags give flexibility to manage common parts of a multiple pages at one place. The JSF HTML tag library contains tags for all UI component and HTML renderer combinations defined in the JSF specification. The JSF Core Tag library contains general purpose tags for conversion, validation, AJAX, and other use cases. The fload bundle element loads a resource bundle localized for the current view and makes it accessible as a request attribute of type map, named as specified in the var tag attribute. The base name attribute specifies the location of our bundle. Resources is the package and application is the file. The var name attribute is the name of a request scope attribute under which the resource bundle is to be made available as a map object. So this is our resource bundle, and it will be made available through the MSG or message variable. Let's look at another tag. The H output text element renders parameterized text. The value attribute references our application properties. Every element following that has a hash and curly braces is referencing values in our application properties. The HForm element renders an input form. It generates the form HTML element. The HPanel grid element renders an HTML table compliant with the HTML 4.0 specification. This component fills the table from left to right and top to bottom with the JSF component it contains. It uses the columns attribute to determine the length of each row, and it keeps creating rows until all contained components have been rendered. The H output label element renders a label HTML element. The for attribute works the same as it does in HTML. The H input text element renders an input HTML element of type text. I added a sub-element to our input text element. Validate length tag is used to validate length of a string value in a particular range. The minimum and maximum attributes define how short or how long respectively the value can be in the input text element. The H command button element renders a button to submit an input form. Now let's take a look at our hello.xhtml. What I want you to really notice are these tags here. Note that when our index.xhtml page submits, the values are placed in our managed bean. We access the values of our managed bean with a hash and curly braces. Using the name of our managed bean and using the dot notation to access our instance variables. In this case, it would be first name. We can also see how I access last name. The hash, the curly brace, the bean name, and then the instance variable. This concludes our discussion of JSF Custom Tags.